Alex Probyn knows a thing or two about tea. He's a master tea blender, so what will he make of PG Tips' new tea bag? PG Tips have pulled off quite a trick. They've shrunk the amount of tea in their tea bags and kept the price the same.
In my opinion, there really is very little difference between the original blend and the new blend. I totally understand why they've done it. There's pressures on the market, tea costs are going up, but at the same time, if they're still providing the same tasting tea, then hey, as far as I'm concerned, there's no real big issue.
It's a storm in a teacup.
A storm in a teacup.
Interestingly, PG Tips say the reason they've shrunk the amount of tea in their bags is not because of increased costs, but to reduce the amount of waste going to landfill.
Well, this is a good example of a number of products which have shrunk in size, but where actually the price has either remained the same or in some instances it's gone up.
At the consumer body Which, they've been monitoring a whole range of products. Shrinking has become something of a trend.
This Philadelphia cheese is a good example of one that we found. It reduced in size from 200 grams to 180 grams, and yet the price of it had gone up by 3p in a number of stores that we looked at. This Hovis bread had reduced in size by 50 grams. It's 50 grams lighter, and yet it's being sold at exactly the same price as before. And then finally, a couple of years ago, we looked at Patak's curry paste here. Again, it's a smaller product than it previously was, 50 grams lighter, and yet again, it's being sold at exactly the same price as before.
When Mars cut the size of their chocolate bars from 58 to 51 grams, they said they were doing it to help tackle obesity. Hovis, which has shrunk this loaf from 800 to 750 grams, say they've improved the recipe and the health benefits.
Here we have shrinking products and yet not shrinking prices. So it raises another question in consumers' minds about actually whether they are getting good value when they do their supermarket shop.
In the end, of course, the size of a tea bag or a Mars bar is hardly life or death, and we all know size doesn't matter. But what has infuriated campaigners is the sense that consumers are being taken for a ride, hoodwinked, being asked to pay the same for less. Graham Satchell, BBC News. What's that? Size does matter.